Welcome. So we're going to go through a 60-minute power flow class today. And I actually want you guys to start all the way down on your back. So just get comfortable. And when you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your knees. And then just give yourself a little bit of a side-to-side rock on the mat. And let out some deep exhales through your mouth all the way down to empty. Just some sighs, easy inhales. And then from there, take a full morning stretch. So reach your legs all the way out in front of you, reach your hands all the way back overhead behind you, and do a roll out through your wrists, roll out through your ankles, move through your fingers, move through your toes. And then we'll meet up in reclined cobbler's pose, so Supta Baddha Konasana. Just bring the bottoms of your feet together, let your knees open up wide. Release your arms down at your sides. Close your eyes. And then we'll take a warm-up breath. It's just be a 3-part breath. So bring your air all the way down to empty. Breathe into your low belly for 1, 2, 3, and hold. Take the air into your mid-abdomen, 1, 2, 3, and hold. Breathe all the way to your chest, into your shoulders. Once you've got the full breath, just relax. And then like you were quieting a child on your exhale, from the bottom, breathe back into your low belly, low back. Pause there. Breathe into your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. Hold there. Fill all the way to the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Once you've got your full breath, just relax. And that same exhale. Start Ujjayi breathing. So inhales through your nose like you were sipping the air in through a straw. Filling from the bottom, through the middle, all the way up to the top. And then exhaling back out your nose like you're fogging up a mirror. And so as we close the back of the throat with this breathing technique, you're going to start to create a sound like hollow wind that you can really listen to the sound. When we focus on inhaling, when we focus on exhaling, we are taking the mind and we're bringing it from fixing, solving, changing into what's happening right here and right now, into the present moment, into the present experience. So just breath control in of itself, you are practicing mindfulness. And when we practice mindfulness, we are practice centering. So we take this entire, all this movement, all this breath, and we take this as a huge centering for our body, for our mind, and for our emotions. So tune in to the sound of your breath, tune into the feel of the breath, and just take what works for me and leave the rest behind. Nice and slow, just reach and extend your legs up in space. Slide your hands to your hamstrings and just give a roll out through your ankles here. Maybe at times you're pointing through the balls of the feet, or maybe at times pointing through your heels. Feel into the edges. Feel all the way down the back of the legs and all the way through the front of the legs. Take your legs out wide. Your hands could come to the inside if you want to weight them down a little bit, or you could drop your elbows to the ground and bring your hands up to the outside for support. Couple rounds of breath, just stretching open here. And then a really easy transition to happy baby. So the knees stay out wide, but then connect the peace sign fingers to your big toes, or the hands to the inside or outside edges of your feet. And we'll just start to give a little sway side to side, gently drawing down on your frame, letting your hips and low back root in towards the ground. The soles of your feet are just shining up in space. And really nice for your hips, for your knees, and for that low back. Awesome. Release your toes, your feet, take your hands to your hamstrings, and just start a really slow rock back and forth the length of your spine. You don't need to pick up too much speed. We're using a little bit more of just the core strength versus our momentum here. And then after a few of those, just rock all the way up to your sit bones, cross your ankles, and we'll bring it forward into a tabletop, hands and knees. Starting to cat and cow whenever you're ready, so just working in between the bow and the arch in your spine. And you can breathe into cows, exhale the cats. That's an awesome way to use your breath here, or you can really weave the breath in however it makes the most sense to you. Feel free to rock a little back and forth or to start to push out to the sides through your hips or through your shoulders as you work in between those two shapes. So we can really customize the work here. And then just come to a neutral flat back. Turn the insides of your wrist to point to the front of the room. Your palms are down and your thumbs point to the left and to the right. And then really slowly take these lean backs where you're going to peel your hands off the mat to your fingertips and then rock forwards where you lay your hands all the way back down into the ground, rolling all the way back down until the heel of the palm roots. Grab that a couple times. And I like this one because it warms all the way up through our wrists and then gets into the circle of the palms. And then you can just take the back of your hands down into the mat when you're ready. Your fingers could point towards one another, or you could do the same thing where you point your fingers back. You could even go back into those same things where you're rolling back to your fingernails and then rolling back forward. Whatever you're doing, just giving a little massage into the hands here. And then we'll meet back in hero's pose with your sit bones to your heels, tops of the feet to the ground. Give a roll out through your hands here. Any movement through your wrists or through your fingers. Okay, rad. Step into or move into your plank position when you're ready. So palms underneath your shoulders, toes to the back of the mat. Hips right on level with your shoulders. And I want you to just do a little rock back and forth. Imagine a saw just cutting through wood, feeling into your core muscles right here, feeling into what's holding us up. And then as we just find stillness inside of the posture, let the biceps tone slightly to center line. Rather than your elbows locked, just a micro bend into them. And then your tailbone is right in between going into cat and right in between going into cow, so you're toned through your belly. On your toes or down on your knees with your ankles crossed, breath at the top. And when your exhale rolls in, just come halfway down, lead forward with your sternum. And on the inhale, lift back up to the top of that plank position. Awesome. Again, exhale, come halfway down, leading with your sternum. And on your inhale, lift back up. Last one, exhale, slowly lower halfway down. Stay tight with those core muscles. Inhale, comes back up. We'll release slowly all the way down to the belly on the exhale. And then we'll do a spider-legged low cobra. So your hands just go out wide off the edges of your mat, and you're going to lift up to your fingertips, so there's space between your palms and the ground. On an inhale, lift up nice and tall through the torso here. And then you can stay upright if you want, or on an exhale, dip your left shoulder over towards the right of the mat. And on your inhale, lift back up nice and tall. Exhale, twist the right shoulder over to the left. One more inhale brings us up tall in space. And on your exhale, just slowly lower down. Take your time working through this. To get to down dog, you can move through plank or through tabletop, letting your hips shift and reach back and up in space, releasing the weight of the head, and then slowly just warming up your downward facing dog, taking a walk through it, letting the heels root to the ground once at a time. Spread into your hands, feel into the circle of the palm, feel into the pads of the fingers. Hands are just slightly wider than your shoulders. And as we hold downward facing dog, getting those hips back up high, biceps toned to center, micros elbow bent. And then with the hips lifted up high in space, letting your heels gently draw down behind you. Take baby steps on the balls of your feet, walking yourself up into a forward fold. Stay on your palms or come to fingertips or fists. Once you're at the top of your mat, slide your hands to your shins or thighs. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. We'll be here for a couple rounds of breath. Make sure the knees aren't locked. There's a little bit of softness in them. And then tone your shoulder blades in towards one another. Let that length come all the way through the back of the neck so your gaze is down. Feel that tone through your core, the tone in your back. One more inhale of that length. And on your exhale, fold forward. Give your head a slow nod, yes. Then a slow side to side nod, no. Releasing the weight of the head down. Vertebrae by vertebrae, slowly roll up to standing. Head will be the very last thing that comes up. When your head comes up, inhale just to reach your arms wide, stretch up tall. We can arc back a little bit in space. And on the exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. So you can keep your feet together at hip bone distance, or you can bring your big toes together with some space between your heels. We'll inhale to reach up into mountain pose. And on your exhale, we'll just do a vertical twist over to the right. So reaching your right hand back behind you as your left arm extends forward. Your hips will want to twist with your torso here, and we want to keep squaring our hips towards the front of the room, so pulling that right hip forward as we breathe into this opening. Get to the end of your breath, and then on an inhale, reach and extend the arms back up tall. Take a little back bend as you extend up. And on your exhale, just switch it up. So now vertical twist to the left hand behind you, right arm forward. Keep a little bit of that softness in your knees so you can push against the ground here, reaching all the way up through your head. Using your breath to help to twist open. Fantastic. Get to the end of your breath, and on your inhale, we'll reach and extend the arms and the right knee up nice and tall in space. We're finding a one-legged mountain here. Right knee is bent at 90, your thigh bones plugging back into your body and finding the full reach through your arms. And then to keep playing with our balance here, we'll keep that left foot rooted to the ground, and you're just going to swim your right leg back in space for airplane Dakasana. And as your leg swims back in space, reach your arms back and then lift your chest up slightly so your gaze is a little bit forward towards the front of the room. Elbows can microbend and lift, fingers extending back. And if you fall out of it or you're wobbling or anything like that, no worries, just stay playful with the balance. On an inhale, we can just take a step back and create a high crescent lunge, so just planting the ball of the right foot down to the ground behind us, that left leg out in front. Keeping your left knee, bringing it into a bend at 90, and then to create stability, letting your thighs tone towards one another, and feeling that back heel draw forward in space so you're on the ball of your right foot here. Beautiful. When you're ready, let's take a vertical twist now, opening to the left. So just reaching left hand behind you and reaching your right arm forward. Spine is right up in space here. Feel that strength in your legs and that twist opening through the body. Beautiful breathing. Next inhale, open to warrior two. So drop the knife edge of your right foot to the ground. We can elongate the stance a little bit from our lunge to our warrior two. And then feel your heels in one line from the front of the mat to the back. Feel your left sit bone tucked underneath your body. And then spine is straight up in space. We reach tall and wide. Shoulders can roll down away from the ears on the back. And then keep that strength of your thighs still pulling back in towards one another here as you press down into the knife edge of that back right foot. Next exhale, we'll bring it into extended side angle pose. So just rooting left forearm to left thigh, or if you take a variation like left arm down inside of left leg, right arm could pull straight up or pull out on a diagonal from your back leg. And as you push down into that left thigh, you're lifting through your left side body here, lifting through your oblique. Stay with your breath. And then on your inhale, you're going to open up to a star shape facing over to the right side of your mat. So all your toes point over to the right, legs are wide, arms are tall. Breathe into that star opening through your body, and we'll take a wide-legged squat horse. So your heels come in, feet point out at 45. Rather than your knees caving in, you want to open your knees up and back in space. And then just bring your hands onto your thighs. We'll take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to twist your right shoulder towards your left knee, so towards the front. On the inhale, lift your spine back up tall in space. And as you exhale, we'll switch that out, so left shoulder towards the right knee, back of the mat. Inhale brings it back up in space, and we're doing one more time on each side, exhaling to the front. Inhaling to lift back up. And just one more exhale to the back, so left shoulder towards your right knee. Okay, inhale, just open back up into that star when you're ready. So take your legs wide, reach your arms tall. And then exhale back into warrior two. So point your left toes forward, left arm forward, right arm backwards. Start to reach your left palm to the sky, breathe into it. And then for reversing your warrior, right hand to your hip thigh or behind you, and left arm just reaches up tall in space. And it's really natural to come out of the lunge as you go to reverse warrior. So while you're in reverse warrior, just recommit to the lunge. Bring your left knee right back over your heel. Keep that strength all the way down into the ground. Thighs are still stabilizing us at center. And then your back right shoulder is just dropping away from your right ear as you lift up through that left side body. And any bend you want to add into your left arm is awesome here. Deep breath in. And on your exhale, cartwheel your hands down to frame your left foot. Move on to the ball of the right foot to a low lunge position. Bring your gaze slightly up. We'll move all the way back up into a one-legged mountain, bringing the arms and the right knee with us. And then we're going to change this one-legged mountain up just a little bit. You'll start to extend your right leg forward in space. And this extension comes from a lift of your right thigh first as you reach the ball of your foot or the heel of your foot forward. And don't worry about your leg going straight. That's not the point of it. The point of it is to lift and then find that extension out from it. Okay, let's play in Warrior 3. So you've got options. As you go to Warrior 3, you could go directly into the traditional one where you just are swimming the right leg back and your arms are forward. Or you could also bring your hands onto your left thigh. And then you can push into it and help to create that length in your spine, that half lift through your spine. Or any variation you want. You could keep right hand into left thigh, left arm forward. Gaze goes down, then the front of your right hip bone is pointing to the ground as you press back through your heel. Stay playful with this one. I know it's a tough one. On an inhale, just come back up into your one-legged mountain. Last one of these. And as you exhale, just bring your foot to the floor and draw your hands back into your heart center. Inhale to stretch and reach up into our Tadasana, our mountain. And then on your exhale, hinge out from your hips and find your swan dive down to your forward fold. Take your peace sign fingers to your big toes, or for gorilla pose, walk your palms underneath your feet so your toes are brushing the back of your wrists. You could also wrap the bellies of the forearms back behind your legs so they're wrapped behind the calves. And then we're going to use the connection here of the hands to the feet or the hands to the legs, just to feel the length in the back of your legs. So lifting up through the sit bones and then gently pulling against the feet, the toes or the legs, and bringing our way into this. And you add any nod yes or side to side nod no through your head that feels best to you. Using the breath to help guide your body into the pose, and using your breath just to let your mind release away from your to-do list, and just again get to center into the here and now, into your own body, your own experience. You can release the hands from the feet or the legs when you're ready. Inhale to that Ardha Uttanasana, so create the length in your spine, half lift, strengthen your shoulder blades. And then plant your hands and move back to your plank. And your choice of how you'd like to take your vinyasa, your flow. So you could go right to down dog. You could lower halfway to chaturanga dandasana. You could do low cobra. I'm going to do upward facing dog, tops of the feet. Hips lift, shoulders down, elbows toned in. And eventually we all meet back in that downward facing dog. Finding that lift back and up through the hips. Drawing down through the heels, relaxing the weight of the head. Letting those biceps tone in towards center line. Imagine you've got tennis balls that you're holding in between your biceps and your ears. Just feeling that good breathing. One more in-breath here. And on your exhale, bend your knees and take your step or your float up to your forward fold at the top of the mat. We'll inhale to come halfway up, reaching through the spine, strengthening around it. On your exhale, refold. Hold navel to spine at empty, and this time reverse swan dive. Inhaling to extend your arms wide, reach up tall. And on your exhale, cactus your arms, take a baby back bend, lifting through the chest. Nice. Inhale to reach your arms back up tall in space, and hands to your heart center on your exhale. Perfect, friends. Inhale to reach back up tall. And on your exhale, find now your vertical twist opening towards the right. So right hand behind you and your left arm forward in space. And you're squaring your hips up towards the front of the room, staying with your breathing, finding that length through your spine. When your inhale comes and we come back up in space, take a little arc back, so just a little baby back bend. And as you exhale, just switch it up to the left, so bringing left hand behind you, reaching your right arm forward. Feel that strength of your core pushing into the ground and pulling the hips forward. Get to the end of the breath. And as you inhale and extend back up tall in space, this time we're going to leave our right foot in front of us and draw our left knee up and find that one-legged mountain. Full length of our body here, rooting down into that big right toe. Perfect. When you're ready, Dakasana airplane. So on an exhale, just swim your left leg back in space. Chest shines up. Fingers extend back. You could add a little bend to your elbows so they're lifting a little bit. And then let those biceps tone in towards one another. That's just going to bring your shoulder blades in towards one another behind you, helping with that lift through your chest. Your next inhale, find your high crescent lunge. So just plant the ball of the left foot back behind you and extend up tall through your arms. And as you find that stability, that strength in your lower body, with our upper body, if you want, you can bring your pinkies forward, thumbs back in space. So then the insides of the biceps turn into face one another. You can draw the biceps back to frame your ears and let the shoulder heads come down away from the ears on the back so you've got a nice opening through your heart. Take a deep breath in and then a vertical twist opening to the right on your exhale. So right hand behind you and just reaching your left arm forward in space. And as you open your wingspan over to the right, your spine is just straight up in space. Staying with that strength in your legs, finding your breathing. Okay, get down to the end of the breath. And warrior two on your inhale. Knife edge of the left foot to the ground, left arm back, right arm forward. Adjust your stance as you need to. Maybe you're elongating a little bit. Maybe you're finding that alignment of your heels or feeling into that right sit bone, tucking underneath the body, sending the spine straight up in space. Then extend out through your arms. Last little piece is just relaxing your shoulder heads away from your ears as you reach forward. Your next exhale, let's take extended side angle pose, hinging forward. Rooting that right forearm, pressing into your right thigh or whatever variation you took on the other side. With your back left hip and extended side angle pose, rather than it popping up in space, continue to draw it down on level with your front right hip. So part of that will be that you're really lifting through your inner right side body, creating that stability in your legs. Next inhale is now your star shape opening up towards the left side of the room. So all 10 toes point forward, arms are wide. We're using star to access our horse, our wide-legged squat. So when you're ready, bring yourself to your wide-legged squat. Your heels come in, your feet point out at 45. Last time we were doing those twists through the spine. This time we're just going to hold our horse pose. So you could do so with hands at heart center. You could also open arms back up to reach forward and backwards to the front and back of your mats. And then if you want, you could lift your heels off the mat so you're on the balls of your feet while you're here. And if you're taking that lift onto the balls of your feet, you'll feel your core muscles, your stabilizer muscles fire up as you play more with your balance. Relax through the face. You're doing great. When you're ready, inhale back to your star. And on your exhale, open to warrior two to the front of the room. So pointing those right toes forward. Open the right palm to the sky. And when you're ready, move into your reverse warrior with left hand to your hip thigh or behind you. And then lifting up through that right arm. And as your right thigh continues to move into your lunge, and you're lifting your right arm up tall, we're really just opening through that right side body here. Again, left shoulder is melting down away from your left ear, relaxed away from your left ear on your back. If you've lost track of your breathing, just come back into it. You're doing great. Next exhale that comes around, cartwheel your hands down to frame your right foot, turn onto the ball of your left, low lunge, and then a big move to reach all the way up to one-legged mountain on an inhale. So bringing your arms and your left knee with you. Once you've made that move from your low lunge to your one-legged mountain, we'll start to lift your left thigh up in space and then take your left foot forward as you reach through your arms. And we want to try to avoid leaning backwards in space while we're here. So if anything, there's more pressure now into the ball of your right foot as you imagine you can press into that wall in front of you. Okay, friends, for warrior three, just start to swim your left leg back into space. And again, you've got variations here. Hands at heart, fantastic. Maybe both hands pressing into that standing right thigh, or left hand there and right arm forward, or both arms forward. Let your gaze go down so the crown of the head is reaching forward. Press your left heel to the wall behind you, and then turn your left toes to point down. Spine's at that half lift. If you fall out of it, just have fun. Nice. Inhale brings us back up to our one-legged mountain, arms and left knee lift. And on your exhale, just root your foot to the ground. Bring your hands to your heart center. Inhale takes us up into mountain lifting. And on the exhale, hinge out from your hips and swan dive down to your forward fold. Inhale halfway up, lengthen through the spine. And then plant the hands, step back to your plank, your choice of how you want to flow. Go right to down dog, drop it halfway, low cobra or up dog. And then we meet back in our downward facing dog. As we come back into this pose and we're here for a couple rounds of breath, let yourself stay engaged inside of the pose. So just seeing if your mind's checking out, if we can bring our mind back in. Breathe into down dog, and your next exhale, bend your knees, look between the hands, and step or float into the forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale halfway up to lengthen through your spine, strengthen your shoulder blades. On your exhale, refold. Reverse swan dive, pressing to the ground, inhaling arms wide, tall. On your exhale, cactus your arms open, take a baby back bend. Inhale to reach back up tall in space and bring the hands to your heart center. Okay, friends, so we're going to go into our breath to movement part of class. Just have fun with this, do your best with it. We always want the full length of our breath to be with us. So we're going to start with your left foot root. Actually, both feet are rooted when it begins. Inhale to reach your arms up into mountain. And on your exhale, take a vertical twist opening to the right. So right hand behind you, left arm forward. On the inhale, come back up into mountain, extend tall. Exhale, vertical twist to the left, left hand behind you, right arm forward. Okay, the left foot roots. Inhale, arms and right knee up into one-legged mountain. And as you exhale, airplane, swim your arms and your right leg back. Inhale is high crescent lunge. Just plant the ball of the right foot, reach up through your arms. And as you exhale, take a vertical twist, opening to the left. So left hand behind you, right arm forward inside of that twist. Inhale is warrior two. So knife edge of the right foot to the ground, right arm back, left arm forward. And then exhale to extended side angle pose, left forearm rooting into your left thigh. Inhale to your star, facing over towards the right wall. And then on the exhale, your horse, your wide-legged squats. Inhale brings us back up into star, reach wide, tall, and warrior two on your exhale to the front of your mat. Inhale, reverse your warrior, sweep the sky with that left arm. And on your exhale, cartwheel down into your low lunge, turn onto the ball of the right foot. Bring the gaze up. Inhale to bring a right knee up to one-legged mountain, so you're standing on your left leg. You can extend the leg if you want, and on your exhale, we're going to swim back into our warrior three. So gaze can go down. One more inhale to your one-legged mountain, lifting arms, lifting right knee. Nice work. Exhale, bring the foot to the floor, dial your hands to your heart center. Okay, we'll take our flow. So inhale to lift up into mountain. On the exhale, hinge out from your hips and find your swan dive. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen spine. Plant the hands, move to plank, and then your choice of how you want to flow. I'm going to go halfway down on the exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. And tuck through the toes into down dog, but you take it however you like. Let's pause for a moment in down dog. Nice. Deep breath in, and on your exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, and step or float up into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, lengthening through your spine. On the exhale, refold. And then reverse swan dive, inhaling wide and tall. Exhale, cactus open, baby back bend. Inhale to reach back up in space. Hands to your heart center on the exhale, thumbs to your sternum. Let's take the other side of that breath to movement. Inhale, reach up into mountain. And then vertical twist to the left on your exhale, left hand behind you, right arm forward. Inhale, back up. You can do a little bit of a back bend here. Exhale to the right, so right hand behind you, left arm forward. Okay, inhale to bring your arms and your left knee up, one-legged mountain. And on your exhale, swim back into Dakasana airplane, arms and left leg back. Inhale is high crescent lunge, so plant the left foot, lift up. And then we'll take that twist open to the right on your exhale, so right hand behind you, left arm forward. Inhale, warrior two, so left arm back, knife edge of the left foot roots, right arm forward. And exhale to extended side angle pose, right forearm, right thigh. Inhale to your star, you're opening to the left. And then exhale into your horse, your wide-legged squat position. Inhale, back up into your star. And on your exhale, open to your warrior two to the front of your mat. Reverse warrior as you breathe in, so sweep the sky through the right arm. And then low lunge on your exhale. Bring your gaze up, and on an inhale, all the way to one-legged mountain, arms and left knee lift. Extend left leg forward. And then warrior three on your exhale, or your version of it. I'm doing my left hand to my right thigh, going right arm forward. Inhale, back up. And then we'll plant the foot to the ground and bring the hands to the heart center on that exhale. And we'll take our flow to down dog. So inhaling to come into our mountain. And then exhaling to hinge out and swan dive. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half lift. Plant the hands, move to your plank. Your choice of how you're going to get to down dog. Just using your breath through your flow, through your vinyasa. Hips draw back and up once we hit that down dog. Release your air all the way out. Take a slow breath, fill up. And sigh out the mouth. Find child's pose, grab a drink of water, take a rest for a moment. Child's pose, your knees can go out wide, tops of the feet to the ground, big toes draw together, sit bones just back to your heels. And as you come into a resting pose like child's pose, it's a really beautiful opportunity for you to come back into that theme, that intention of centering. So letting the weight of the body come right down to the ground and just getting to focus just on your breathing while your body's inside of this shape. We'll do this for a couple more rounds of breath. Awesome. On your inhale, rise up to a tabletop position and just drop one of your hips to the ground. Bring your legs forward. Rock the weight down onto your back. Bring your knees into your chest for just a moment, and then we're going to go into some work for our core muscles. So we're going to go through some movement and hold, and then the same movement. And the first movement piece I'll show you is just your legs are straight up. You pull your head and shoulders off your ground. Reach the arms forward. And then you're using your oblique strength, your side body strength, to reach forward through your side bodies. The hold is just your arms straight up, gazes forward. So friends, when you are ready, on your mark, get set and go. And again, the speed of this is totally up to you. I want it to be guided by your breathing. If your neck needs support, you can always throw one hand behind the base of the skull, give a little support to the neck. Okay, we're ready for that hold piece. So both arms straight up or one hand behind the base of the skull. Important part is that head and shoulders are lifted, and you'll feel the core muscles flexed here as you hold and as you breathe. Reaching up through the balls of the feet or your toes or your heels. Okay, then go back into that movement, and then we'll take a rest. So go back into your side to sides. You got it. So just reaching forward through left hand, reaching forward through right hand. Nice. And then your rest, just bring your head down and come back into our starting pose, or Supta Baddha Konasana, so reclined bound angle. Letting your arms open up. Knife edges of the feet are connected and down to the ground. Your knees are wide. And just finding those inhales, finding those exhales. Okay, and then your next one, we're going to be dealing with a leg lift position. So that's where your feet are together and your legs are on the diagonal. And the movement is really great. You inhale to bring your knees in, reverse tabletop, and then exhale to reach your legs straight up and then lower to a diagonal with your low back rooting to the ground. So take this at your own pace. Let's start whenever you're ready. Go for it. And when your legs come to the diagonal, friends, feel your low back rooted versus there being an arch in your low back. Perfect. Next time the legs come out to the diagonal, just hold your legs out on the diagonal. And this is where you can really focus on that piece of your low back is pressed, pinned, rooted, staked down into the ground. Nice. Go back into that movement. So in, up, downs, inhaling knees in, exhaling legs straight up, and then just controlling back down to the diagonal. You got it. Last couple. So when you're ready, you'll just lower the feet to the ground and then go to a full morning stretch. And as you open all the way up through the abdominal wall here with your legs in front of you, your arms back behind you, take that deep Ujjayi breathing and just allow your breath to massage out your abdominal wall while we're here. Full inhales, full exhales. Excellent. Bring your knees to your chest. Grab. And then hook your hands to your hamstrings and with the heels rooted. Lift your spine up nice and tall and hug your shoulder blades in. Let the feet come off the floor, so we're into boat pose Navasana. And then we're going to do a movement here where on your inhale, you bring your knees in and you'll round your spine, arms forward. But then the exhale, and on the exhale, up and back up on the exhale. Find you got it. Last one. Awesome. Cross your ankles. And then come all the way down into Sphinx pose. So just tap your toes. Let your hips come down to the ground. This is just a nice back bend. It's all. We always have that option to gently push or pull against our own body when we're in a bind. You can find the length through the back of the neck. Knees toned in at about hip bone distance. Take one more deep breath in. And on your exhale, just slow. Reverse plank. So you could be on the knife edge of it and like side plank. You could take that or heels underneath your knee, hips lift tall, and then you're reading the ground. Lift your left knee high. And for that full eagle, left thigh wraps around right thigh. You can press the outside of your left foot against the right calf or flex it to the side or wrap the top of the foot behind the calf. And as your sit bones drop low like you're going to chair, keep your spine straight up like your shoulders are sliding down the wall behind you. Elbows bent at 90 and lifted up. And you're in a bind here, and there's a little pushing and pulling going on to find your balance. That's how you're finding your balance in eagle. Nice, Kay. Just unwind, one-legged mountain, breathe in, and then on the exhale, take it all the way through airplane to a low lunge, hands down to frame your right foot, ball of left foot the back of the mat. Take a step into your downward facing dog. So just have your right foot step back to meet your left. And then on an inhale, pull your left leg back up tall in space, three-legged down dog. On the exhale, open the hip and bend the knee. Make that scorpion tail. Knee lifts tall. Stay right here or wild thing. Pivot now with your right hand. Plant your left heel to the ground. You can keep your right leg like side plank onto the knife edge. Or you can step your right heel underneath your right knee as you lift up through the hips and then reach that left arm to the front of the room. Gaze can be up or your head could come back. If you're in wild thing, turn back, three-legged down dog. Breathe in, and on your exhale, work your left foot up between your hands. Knife edge the right foot to the ground. We rise up into our warrior one when you're ready. Perfect. So again, you got that option, your heels in one line, or you got your heels open up a little bit wider. Angle of your back foot can go to the right, or you can point it forward. We just want the press into the legs, and then that right hip is working forward in space as we lift up through our arms. And then we're in that lunge in our front leg. Breathe into that arms lifted, and on your exhale, swim your hands behind, interlace at your knuckles. Inhale the knuckles down, shoulders tone in, and then take that bow forward. Find your humble warrior. You could give your head even a little side to side movement here. Full breathing. Release, inhale to come back up into your warrior one. And on your exhale, cactus your arms open. This time, bring your left elbow in front of you. Hook your right elbow underneath the left. Find the palm, wrist, or thumb. Take a step onto your left leg, so standing up on it, bringing your right knee in space. And then wrap your right thigh around your left thigh. Come back into that eagle. And again, spine is tall as sit bones drop low. And if you're falling out of it, you're wobbling. We're all working on our balance. That's just part of being in balance, playing with balance. Most important part to me, have fun with these shapes. Last round of breath here. An inhale takes us up into our one-legged mountain. And on the exhale, you're going through airplane back to a low lunge position. And then step back into your last down dog, so left foot meets the right. Awesome, friends. Breathe into it. Take an exhale out the mouth. Lower your knees to the ground. Drop one of your hips to the floor. And then we'll find a cobbler's pose from a seated position. So bottoms of your feet together. Take a moment and find the front edge of your sit bones, pulling the flesh away or walking back. And then with hands to your feet or to your ankles, inhale just to reach up tall through your chest. And on your exhale, hinge out from the hips and let your sternum reach towards your big toes. Hands can wrap around your feet, your toes can come to the ground, can grab onto your shins. You could take your elbows to the insides of your legs and just let the weight of them rest against the legs, or even give a little gentle press down, opening the knees out wide. And just find that full breathing. Vertebrae by vertebrae, just start to roll your way back up. Stretch the legs out in front. Slide the hips up and work your way down to your back. Relax your head down to the ground. Step your heels in a little bit closer. Feet are planting, knees are up in space. And then for bridge pose, once your heels are close enough that your fingers can touch your heels, just press into your triceps, press into the base of your skull through your shoulders. Lift your hips up. Shoulders can come in a little closer, making that shelf for the heart. And then find your breath here. Feel spread out into all corners of your feet. And if your eyes are open and you're watching your belly, it's a pose you can see the rise and fall of your breath from. Next exhale, just vertebrae by vertebrae, release down. And once your hips land down, cross your right ankle over your left thigh, over your left knee, and find a reclined pigeon so your hands can interlace around your left shin or around your left hamstring. And then you hug the left knee in towards the chest. Right foot can flex, so toes back to shin. Right knee could flex forward. And then maybe you take a little side to side rock while you're here. Just working with those inhales, working with those exhales. Extend your left leg flat out in front of you. Hug your right knee to your right shoulder. And then on an exhale, just take the reclined twist. So your left hand pulls your right knee down over to the left. Your hips roll onto the outside edge of the left hip. And then create that twist all the way through your upper body with your right hand reaching to the right. And then your gaze just going out across your fingertips. roll onto your back. Bring your knees to your chest. Take a moment just to neutralize your spine. Give a little rock. And then we'll switch out the reclined pigeon so your right foot goes down to the ground, left ankle over your right knee, over your right thigh, and then grabbing onto that right hamstring, grabbing onto that right shin, and just bringing the knee in towards you. Again, maybe a little flexion in your left foot, toes back to your shin, and then your left knee flexing a little forward. Weight of your head just relaxed down to the ground. And that side to side can feel good where you can get into some different edges in the pose. Right leg stretches flat out in front of us. Hug the left knee up towards your left shoulder. Take a deep breath in, and then when your exhale comes, find the other side of that reclined twist. So let your right hand grab the knee, pull down to the right, and then complete the twist through your upper body, left arm to the left, gaze out to the left wall, and just let the breath snake its way through your spine. Nice. Roll onto your back and just give yourself your last little rocking motion. So whether it's knees to your chest or whether you return back to happy baby, we hit that one earlier on in class. Just something where you're getting a rock into your hips, into your low back, neutralizing your spine. And then we've hit that point in class when we are ready for our final resting pose, our Shavasana. So make yourself super comfortable. Let the weight of your legs, when you are ready for it, just completely relax out. The feet relax. Releasing your arms at your sides, turning your palms to the sky. And Shavasana is just a big exhale for your entire being. It's that moment when you get to just settle into the ground. You get to settle into the end of your day. You get to settle into the end of your practice. And we have that accomplished feeling that we get to relax into. So let go of the breath. Find the stillness around this pose and just enjoy the silence. And just start to bring life slowly back into your body. You can just be moving your fingers and moving your toes to begin with. From there, maybe move to a full morning stretch. Roll out your ankles, roll out your wrists. Find a deeper breath. And then from being on your back, just roll onto your side and curl up into a fetal position. Find a deep round of breath here. And then keeping the eyes closed, we'll meet in a cross-legged position. You can scoot yourself to the front edge of your sit bones, pull the flesh away. And when you're there, inhale to extend your arms wide and tall. And on your exhale, bring your hands down into your heart center, letting your thumbs just rest back in towards your sternum. Weight of the head can release forward. Friends, it's been my pleasure to lead you through your practice today. The light in me greets the light in you. Namaste. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much.